Namaskar, welcome to the KTHM College Nasik and welcome back again to the lecture series of first year BSc Biotechnology course Fundamental of Physics. So in the previous lecture we have discussed that thermodynamical temperature and also we have seen that how to convert one unit of temperature into another unit. Also we have seen the scale of the length measurement. We can convert 1 unit of the scale length into another unit, right? So today we are going to talk about electric current. So what is electric current? As we all familiar, electric current is the motion of charged particle through the matter, or we can say that the flow of charge. Charged particle. The charged particles are either electron or hole. Right? Mainly conductor carry the electric current, right? Why? Because conductor have so many free electrons while insulator have not free electrons. Let's come to the atomic structure first. We know that the nucleus, which is a positively charged particle, which is at the center of an atomic structure. This is an atom and these are the shells of atoms having number of electrons present here. And these electrons, number of electrons in each shell can be derived by 2n square, where n is equal to 1 here, first shell, first orbit, n is equal to 2, second orbit, n is equal to 3, n is equal to 4, and how many are there? N is equal to infinite number of atomic shells in each atom. So we can substitute, we can set the electrons in each orbit or in each shell by using this formula. For example, if n is equal to 1, we have 2 electrons in the first orbit. N is equal to 2, we have 8 electrons. If n is equal to 5, we have 50 electrons. So right, if the outermost shell is not completely filled, then we can say that there are free electrons present in outermost shell. And these free electrons are responsible for the electric current. So conductor has so many free electrons, and it is responsible, these free electrons are responsible to flow the electric charge particle or to flow the electric current through the conductor. I hope it is clear. So for example, if we consider a conducting wire here and if we apply potential difference or battery, positive terminal and negative terminal here, so all the free electrons through these conducting wires, they are try to attract towards the positive terminal. So the electrons are moving along positive direction and the holes are moving in the negative terminal because the like charges repel to each other. And we can say that the electric current I is flowing in the opposite direction of flow of electron. And if we connect the bulb over here, this is the tungsten filament. When the flow of charged particle flowing through this tungsten filament, this filament get heated and it emits radiations in the form of light, and we can say that the bulb is shining. So electric current I is nothing but Q by T, charge per unit time, flow of charge per unit time. The unit of charge is coulomb and time is second. So coulomb per second is nothing but ampere, and we can draw the scale also here. 1 ampere means 1 milliampere means 10 raised to 3, microampere 10 raised to 6, nanoampere 10 raised to 9, very small current it is. Kiloampere 10 raised to -3, megaampere 10 raised to -6, and so on. I hope it is clear. Next point is luminous intensity. Luminous is the property of light. What it indicate? How bright is the light, or how shiny it is light. So luminous intensity is equal to the amount of flux, luminous flux, emitted by the source, light source, per unit solid angle. Per unit solid angle. So therefore, what is luminous flux? Suppose if we have a point source, light source here, and light emit the radiations in all directions. The number of radiations are emitted by this light source. So if you consider a unit area over here, so whatever the light radiations are emitted from this unit area is known as the luminous flux. The amount of luminous flux means number of radiations which are emitted per unit area. Okay, so this number of the amount of luminous flux are emitted per unit solid angle. What is solid angle? Solid angle is 3D angle. For example, angle made by cone, and its unit is steradian. Its unit is steradian. Okay, so how we can calculate the solid angle? For example, suppose if you consider a solid sphere here, okay, of radius r, and the angle, this angle is known as dw, which is nothing but solid angle. So the whatever the area made over here, okay, so whatever the area made over here by making the angle, solid angle, so this solid angle is said to be 1 steradian only when this area made over here is equal to r square. So if this area is r square, by making this solid angle d omega, which is equal to 1 steradian. I hope it is clear, right? So 1 steradian is equal to dw. So dw is equal to 1 steradian, and the condition is that whatever the area made here by making the solid angle, which is equal to r square. R is the radius of this sphere, right? So therefore, luminous intensity Li is equal to the amount of flux, lumina, its unit is lumina, upon 1 steradian. So 1 lumina upon 1 steradian is equal to 1 candela, or we can write it 1 CD. This is the unit of luminous intensity. So this luminous intensity is depend on solid angle. For example, if early in the morning, if you consider an area on the earth's surface, and whatever the light emitted from the sun by solid angle d omega, okay, these are the light incident on this area, and d omega is the solid angle. This case is in morning. So we know that in the morning luminous intensity is less as compared to the afternoon. So in this case d omega increases, solid angle increases, and luminous intensity is also increases, right? So in the afternoon. Alright, now the next point is amount of substance. The amount of substance is a physical quantity or quantity which measure the matter is. We know that matter is classified into solid, liquid and gaseous. So everything in the nature is nothing but matter. Okay, so how we can measure this matter? The matter can be measured in mole. We know that the Avogadro's number, which is equal to 6.02 into 10 raised to 23, right? So 1 mole is equal to 6.02 into 10 raised to 23 particles, or we can say that atoms. So how this number came? This is the standard value derived by Avogadro. 12 gram, he has taken 12 gram of carbon 12, and in 12 gram of carbon 12 there are 6.02 into 10 raised to 23 particles are there. So this is the standard Avogadro's number. So 1 mole is equal to 6.02 into 10 raised to 23 particles. So the relation between number of moles is equal to mass of the given sample upon its molecular weight. Molecular weight we can calculate. Suppose if you want to calculate molecular weight of H2O, so we can calculate it. The atomic mass of H hydrogen is 1 and it is plus oxygen is 16, so we will have 18 gram per mole. So that means in 18 gram of H2O molecule there are 6.02 or 1 mole, 6.02 into 10 raised to 23 molecules are there. We can calculate mass of atom. Suppose if you want to find out mass of one atom of oxygen, so we know that 1 mole is equal to 16 gram of one oxygen. So in 16 gram we have 6.02 into 10 raised to 23 particles, which is equal to 1 mole. So therefore mass of one atom is equal to 16 gram upon 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 atoms. So 16 upon 6.02, I think it is 2.65 into 10 raised to minus 23 gram. So this is the mass of one atom of oxygen. Similarly, we can find out mass of any atom of any element. Alright, so with the help of this formula, we can calculate the number of moles and the amount of substance which we can measure in moles. I hope it is clear. So, since from the beginning we discussed that the fundamental quantity, physical quantity, and its unit, fundamental units and derived units, and also we have seen the smallest scale to the largest scale, subatomic scale to the astronomical units, and we have seen the thermodynamical temperature, and also we have seen how to convert the one unit of temperature into another unit. Also we have seen the conversion of one unit of length into another unit. And today we have discussed that electric current, which is measured in ampere, luminous intensity, which is the property of the light, that how bright is the light, and that we can calculate by using the formula luminous flux upon solid angle, and which unit of this luminous intensity is candela, and amount of substance, which is nothing but the measurement of matter, and the unit is mole. I hope you clear it all the things in measurement module. So we'll finish it right now, and since from the next lecture we are going to talk about the fluid mechanics, which is the next module of fundamental of physics.